A little technical difficulties, but we're over it now. You know that without difficulties, without struggles, without troubles, you don't grow. You don't learn. You don't get better. You don't improve. You just don't. So we're going to get better. We're going to improve. We are. Hey, do you guys ever feel tested? I know this sounds familiar, but do you ever feel like you get tested? Like you're in that moment where you've got a delicate choice to make.
Yeah,
you've got
I've
a
been
decision.
tested for many things.
For ADD or ADHD. What is the difference, by the way?
That's the age.
I totally passed that test. Now I don't remember any of it.
The H stands for hyperactive.
Hyperactive. See, when I look at you, I don't think hyperactive.
I'm retroactive.
Retroactive.
Completely different.
ADRD. It's been retroactive fair. What about you, Haley? Do you ever feel tested? Like you're out there doing life and you're like, oh, I think I'm being tested right now.
Every day of my life.
Every day.
Every day.
What would be, can you be vulnerable, can you be transparent, can you think just for a moment, a test that you recently went through that you're like, I think I was being tested there. Like this was one of those God things, those God moments where the Lord was saying, okay, Haley, are you going to step up and be the princess of the Lord I created you to be?
She's not great on the spot, so I'll just
I'm
waste
just
some
trying to
time
think.
here.
Just make up something.
Just make up something.
I'm just kidding. You're being tested right now.
could've.
No,
Actually, I
you're being
can't lie.
tested to make up something. You
I
see how it
can't
works?
lie.
You kind of shared a
lie to
little
me all
bit
the
during your
time.
little talk today about the fact that when you went back to school,
Oh.
you know, there's like this.
Yeah.
How you gonna act? How you gonna respond to this?
Right. Yeah. I can't think of a actual moment, but just something like there was somebody the other day. I don't remember who it was, but anyways.
Let's say it was
They said-
Alex.
I think it was Chuck Norris.
It
They
was
said
Chuck Alex Norris.
they said
was
something
Cat Stone.
like I was listening to a worship song. They were in my car. Oh, I can't remember. It was somebody from church.
Don't tell me they changed
And
the
they were like, oh, so you listen to the Christian music, which I was really like taken back because they're from my church.
And they're like, it was the pastor. He was like, can't you listen to this?
and I could have just been like, oh no, I just have like this CD. I mean,
My mom made me put it in.
yeah, but I like made that choice to be proud of it, and I just love this music.
Yeah.
I have special moments with the Lord, like whatever really makes me passionate, and so I was nervous. It's so funny how we get nervous about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but I think the reason why we get nervous is because it's a sober moment. Like we're in a presence of the spotlight's on us.
Mm-hmm.
Our heavenly daddy is looking down and saying, okay, son, okay, daughter, I'm giving you a chance to shine here. Are you going to shine, or are you going to feel really, after this, like regretful? And I've felt regretful. Can I tell you guys a quick story?
Yep, let's hear it.
When I was a kid, many years ago, back in the 1700s, I had a friend. I'd just become a Christian, and I'm a former pothead, kid. Bad choices, bad choices. Now, if you're a pothead, just telling you, bad choices. But anyway, I came to this relationship with Jesus. He changed my life, born again. Like, I was a brand new guy. But I went to this party after after some event that we were at, some sporting event, and my buddy was had drinking a beer and hanging out, and he said to me, he's like, "Hey, Fob, you're a church guy now."
Wow.
Now you have to understand, I don't want to pretend that I was a popular kid, but it's not a big town.
Yeah.
Only 80 some of us in our grad class, and I was well known because I had a big mouth and I was just stupid.
Okay.
And so a lot of people kind of perked up a bit there because the word had gotten out that I'd started reading the Bible and going to church and stuff, even though I didn't live in that town anymore. I was just home for the weekend. And he says, "So what's going on with all that?" And I said, "You know what I said? You know what I said? I said, no big deal. No big deal. And a week later, that same guy that asked me that question died in a car wreck, drunk driving. Died. And I had to go to his funeral. I was broken because I knew what I'd messed up, screwed up. And I had to go to his funeral, and his mom was a church-going woman, Christian woman. And she knew that I had become a Christian. I'd never told her that her son and I had that conversation. I didn't have the guts. I told her years later, but I never had the guts to tell her that at the funeral because I thought it would just devastate her. And I really regretted that. I felt like I was tested. I was given a chance. Like, it was, how hard it would have been for me to say, yeah, it's awesome. Because I wasn't being an idiot that night. I was sober. I was just hanging out with my buddies. But I wasn't an influencer. I wasn't doing anything that was going to change the world. I wasn't there to really make that moment count. And I've always regretted that. I'll regret it till the day I die, because according to the Bible I read, this Bible, and I can't say I know this 100% true because I just don't know what God decides in these cases. I don't know what my friend decided in his heart. I don't know anything, but according to the Bible I read, my friend is in hell, because I never knew that he ever made a decision to give his life to the God that created him. I never knew that. I never heard him do that. Now, they found him on the road. He went through the windshield. They don't know if he died instantly, but they do know he had a heart attack from the amazing amount of stress his body went through because he went through the windshield. Maybe in his final seconds, he did say something to the Lord. I don't know that. I hope I'm being clear. I don't know that. But I do know this. I made a really stupid, bad decision a week earlier. And I regret it. And I always will regret it. And I think, you know what? There are times in our lives where we're tested and we're given an opportunity to hit a home run. And if we don't choose wisely, it has ripple effects in people's lives, in people's children's lives, in societies and towns. We don't know what we do in this moment that can have an effect in eternity for years and centuries and millennia to come. And I think about Jesus, and we talked about the fact that Jesus was tempted in the desert, right? And that was a testing. And Jesus did well. He hit a home run, cracked it out of the park 100% of the time. Always choose well. But we have this Garden of Gethsemane opportunity here, where he's in the garden and he says to his disciples, "Hey, boys, pray that you won't be tested. Peter, pray that you won't be tested." And what do? They fall asleep. Okay? They let him down. Jesus goes into the garden and he kneels down, it says in verse 41 of Luke 22. He knelt down and he starts talking to his daddy and says, "Daddy, if you will, please don't make me suffer. Take this cup," which was a symbol of, take this thing I'm about to do, which was the crucifixion. He didn't want to do it. He was being tested. He didn't want to do it. He wanted to say, no big deal. He's like, "You know what? I've been preaching, I've been teaching, I've been doing a good job. Come on, I've done a good job for you, Daddy. I've obeyed you in all the things. I've never sinned. I don't want this. Can you take this from me?" And but he says, "But do what you want and not what I want." And he chose well. He chose to submit to his Father and say, "I'll do what you want me to do." And he marched out and he got arrested. And he went on that cross, and he hung on that cross, and he died on that cross, and he said, "It is finished." And then 3 days later, he got out of that tomb and said, "Now let's get this game started. Let's get this party rolling. And if you believe in me, you shall have eternal life, and you shall soar like eagles," the Scripture says. And I'm so grateful that God chose that for me, because I've failed. I've made bad choices. I've made poor decisions. I have a lot of regrets, but God chose well for me. And he gives me an opportunity through texts like this to say, "You know what, Fop, you can continue to make mistakes when you're tested, or you can choose well and have a ripple effect of positive influence in your one and only life." And you can too. You too. You too. Nobody else in the room? People watching, of course. You all can out there. You can choose well. And we all have a chance to do that. So the next time you see a homeless dude, you don't have to give him $50, but say something kind to him. Give him $1. You can afford $1. Next time you see someone in your circle of influence, the hallway at your school that looks down and just in the bummer, say hi to them. You don't know what that hi could do for them. Give them a pound it. Pound it. My son always pound it. Don't pound them, but pound it. Be kind. Be loving. That smile that you give to somebody, it could change their world. So that's the dose moment of the day. That's all I got to say. We're going to go back into some music, and we're going to come back, and we're going to say goodbye to you. And we're going to give away, Caitlin's going to choose our lucky winner today of our Contestio. So don't go anywhere. You're watching The Gong Show.
You're logged in to Remedy, your positive web station destination. We chat, we listen, we love.
Why you let them get you like